everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, June 16th, 2024. Of course, Victor Newman is the secret investor. Of course, Victor Newman is behind it all. Victor is back, and he wants revenge on Jack. And he seems to have a three-step plan. Step one, splinter the Abbott family by dividing and conquering when it comes to Diane and Kyle. Step two, use his own family and his own company and Newman Media specifically to try to influence public opinion, I'm sure. And step three, partner with Audra to purchase a cosmetics company that can compete with Jabot. Oh my goodness, Victor. It has really been a while since we've seen Victor in full form like this, but here he is, reigniting the old rivalry with Jack like it never went away. I guess treachery is like riding a bike. Once you know how to do it, you never forget. He just picked right back up and got right back on the bike. Wow. And Jack's not really even going to see it coming. Victor has this planned out, and Jack's not even going to see it coming. So, okay, I thought maybe we would just go through each of those three steps of Victor's plan and talk about it, because there's just a lot within each of them. So step one, clearly Victor is trying to ruffle Diane's feathers to cause problems in her and Jack's relationship. And then he's also dangling this shiny carrot in front of Kyle. Neither of these really seem all that hard to accomplish. Ruffling Diane's feathers, well, they're already ruffled by Nikki and Jack's friendship, we'll call it. So, I mean, mission accomplished there already. If Victor is aiming to destroy Jack and Diane's marriage, he is right on track. I loved the scene on Friday where Nikki tried to apologize to Diane, and Diane entertained Nikki's apology while Jack was around. But then the second Jack went to go and take a phone call, Diane said to Nikki, next time, why don't you try leaning on your own husband? It's kind of true. I mean, I would not want my husband's ex-wife running to him every single time she had a problem that might threaten her sobriety. So I appreciated that coming from Diane, and I also appreciated that little moment of jealousy where Diane overheard Jack on the phone with Tracy offering support about the Ashley situation, but Diane totally assumed that Jack was on the phone with Nikki. I mean, Diane even admitted she's paranoid now. She's jealous now, which means that Victor's plan is already working. Diane and Jack were already splintering, so it's not really even all that hard. Victor just has he has to blow on the dominoes for them to fall down. But then there's Kyle, and Victor has been running into Kyle a whole lot lately, pumping Kyle up about how he should have Diane's job. And if things don't work out at Jabot, well, then Newman Enterprises can always use a talented executive like you, Kyle. And oh, wouldn't that just be icing on the cake if Jack's wife left him and Jack's son went to work for Victor, oh yes, yes, that would make Victor very, very happy. And when it comes to Diane and Kyle's feud, I just really feel like Jack has not done enough to try to put a stop to it. I feel like all of Jack's focus lately has been on Nikki, while this rift between Diane and Kyle has become a chasm. Jack really needs to put his foot down more firmly with Kyle. He kind of did on Friday, but for that, he should have done that weeks ago. And this should have really been a firm foot down. Jack really needs to reinforce the boundaries there, establish some boundaries or something with Kyle, so that he's not stepping on Diane's toes at work. But I also think that Jack needs to come up with some new project or something to make Kyle feel valued. And Jack has just done none of that. He's done absolutely nothing. I mean, he's really been more involved in Nikki's sobriety struggle than with Ashley's mental health struggle even. I mean, absolutely everything in Jack's life and everyone in Jack's life has taken a back seat to Nikki lately. And Diane sees that, and Victor sees that. This week, Victor also enlisted a little help with the Diane and Kyle issue. He asked Cole to make friends with Kyle and for Michael to make friends with Diane as a way of making it up to him for them saving his hide. I mean, that's what happened there. They saved him. And Victor's response is, oh yeah, okay, well, you totally saved me from spending the rest of my life in prison. You owe me one. How's that work? We did you a favor and now we owe you a favor? I don't know. I honestly can't even believe that Cole and Michael are both going along with it. I mean, Michael's already friends with Diane, so it's not really going to be too hard for him. But now Cole has to forge a relationship out of nothing with Kyle. Which Cole was very deft at, I might add, asking Kyle out for beers. Oh my gosh. Is that great or what? I think Cole is probably one of the only guys on the show who I can believe might actually go out for beers. It would be like Cole and Chance. Cole and Chance are the beer drinking dudes on the show. Maybe Nick, but it would Nick would probably be drinking some kind of fancy micro brew or something. I feel like Cole and Chance would go out for beers and would just order a Budweiser. Or whatever's on tap. Kyle is so not a beer drinking dude. But still, Kyle was like, okay, I'm just gonna go along with this because I subconsciously want to sleep with your daughter. Step 2 of Victor's plan of attack for Jack is to use Newman Media for something or other. I can only imagine it's to publish a scandalous article about Jack or to try to influence public opinion about Jabot. But this week, in order to do that, Victor decided that he wanted to move his pawns children around on his chessboard. At Newman Enterprises. Even though Nick and Adam are like Smash Brothers right now. Nick and Adam are like Mario and Luigi, rescuing princesses and closing business deals left and right. I was loving it. But Victor decided out of the blue that he wants Adam to move over to Newman Media and become the CEO because he can trust him, wink, wink. And for Victoria to take Adam's place, working right beside Nick as co-CEOs of Newman Enterprises. Okay. First of all, it feels like Adam is only valuable to Victor when Victor wants something. And it feels like Adam will always be happy to oblige if he thinks that he will get some crumb of fatherly approval out of it. It is an unhealthy relationship cycle. All of this. Unhealthy relationships. And Victoria, I guess I feel like I don't want Victoria to return to work yet. Honestly, I'm loving this laid-back summer tack house chill time, hanging in the kitchen, dunking tea bags with Nikki. It's so cozy, isn't it? It reminds me of Hope's Farmhouse back in 1993 when I started watching this show. All summer long, it was just nothing but lemonade and love. So I'm into it. I'm just not into seeing Victoria going back to being the Ice Queen of Newman Enterprises. Are you missing seeing Victoria in action at Newman Enterprises, or are you with me thinking you're kind of liking this laid back Victoria and you want to see that a little while longer? Let's make that our poll question for this week at yrchat.com. Should Victoria return to work? If Victoria absolutely has to go back to work, I know she can't just hang out forever. But if she absolutely has to go back to work, then I liked Nikki's idea a whole lot better. Put Victoria in charge, even if temporarily, of Newman Media. She could take over for Lauren, who, honestly, it's ridiculous to think that Lauren was running Newman Media on the side while running her whole company, too. And it was all done just as a favor, just a favor. Sure, I'll cat sit for you this weekend. Sure, I'll just watch your multimedia company. I'll just take over that for you as a favor. The word favor, it's a big ask. It was a big ask of Lauren. But I think that Nikki and Victoria at Newman Media together, and then Adam and Nick staying at Newman Enterprises, all of that makes sense. It's very cohesive. It works for everyone. Except Victor. Because Victor isn't interested in family unity and cohesiveness. Victor's interested in revenge on Jack. Plain and simple. And finally, let's move to step 3 of Victor's three-pronged attack against Jack. Victor wants to partner with Audra to purchase Glissade right out from under Tucker, and then, I'm assuming, use it to compete with Jabot to crush Jack's dreams once and for all. I think that was a nice twist at the very end of Friday's show. I liked that a lot, and I think there's a lot of potential here. Cosmetics Wars 2024. I love that. If, and only if, we can actually see some lipstick or something. I'm gonna need to see some cosmetics soon, Y&R. I love the name Glissade. All of our company names are so lame now. It's like everybody's last name, and this week Billy's trying to cram the Abbott name into Chancellor Winters. It's like it's the Dom thing all over again. Everything has to be a last name, but Glissade. It's so right. And I just think it would be great to see Glissade, Victor owning Glissade versus Jabot 2024. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Oh. But what to say about Tucker and Audra? What to say? What to say? Because ultimately, I'm sort of rooting for them both. And I'm sort of rooting against them both, too, at the same time. It's like they're just so dynamic. Not just in their relationship with each other, but in their relationship with me. It's so dynamic. There's just so much to peel apart. Because on the one hand, I'm looking at Tucker pleading with Audra this week. And I am thinking he is so sincere. I am thinking he has had a breakthrough. He loves Audra. He wants what he thinks is best for her. I mean, this week he offered to just give her the CEO position at Glissade along with the board seat to stop all of this fighting and feuding. He basically waved the white flag and she spit on it. It's very immature. It's very bratty. It's very entitled. But then on the other hand, I can see why Audra turned it down. I think she viewed it as him just throwing her a bone as a way to placate her while still keeping her in his orbit. Like, give her the CEO position and the board seat. She'll quiet down. And eventually he will wear her down on the relationship part in the long run. He also didn't offer to give her the company until she had already revealed that she had secretly gathered the board votes to buy him out. So initially he just said, here, take the CEO, take my board seat, which still would have made him the owner, which means he still would have had control over her in some way, which is why she told him, I don't want your crumbs. I want to own the company, and I'm gathering up the board seeds to buy you out. It's just her switching one master for another. But I also have to say, I really did emotionally appreciate Audra's point to Tucker when she said that she finally wised up to his game when she realized that he is someone who is just always wanting something that is just out of reach. Whether it's Ashley or Devon or her, he's always wanting that thing that he just can't have. And then if he does manage to get it, he lies and manipulates and loses interest in it altogether. And I think that is a very fair point about his personality. I do think that Tucker idealizes the thing that he doesn't have. And I don't think that's totally uncommon either. I think we all probably do that on some level. It's desire. It's what drives us. It's what both drives us and drives us crazy. Desire. But I mean, in the end, when it comes right down to Tucker versus Audra, I think the thing that pushes my swing vote over the edge is the fact that all of this is just so totally unnecessary. I feel like Audra started a war when she really didn't need to. She could have had Tucker and the company, but I feel like she went and fired off her hair trigger and ended the relationship so abruptly, and then just went on this warpath wanting to take Glissade away from him when she had no entitlement to it in the first place. It's not hers. It was never meant to be hers. She's kind of just being a brat, and she wants to take it just because. And honestly, if she thinks that working with Victor Newman is going to be any better than working with Tucker, then she is about to learn a hard lesson in ruthlessness. He wrote the book, or actually the book was written about him. So, I mean, it's the point, though. The wonderful thing about it is that it's all very entertaining, especially because love can be illogical, and all of this is very, very passion driven. So I'm still gonna hold out for the makeup sex. The makeup sex, if it happens, is gonna be explosive, unless Ashley returns to have makeup sex with Tucker first. I have to say, I thought it was nice to see some resolution on Ashley and Tucker's relationship this week, early in the week. They did have a lot to hash out, because throughout Ashley's struggle with the DID, she really put Tucker through the ringer. I mean, I think that Ashley owed Tucker an explanation, maybe owed him an apology or two, and he did seem to accept it. Their meeting was very, very friendly, but it was also very loving and very tender. And see, I think that Audra's point about the way Tucker idealizes what he can't have is very, very well represented there in the Ashley situation. I think that Tucker is always going to see Ashley on a pedestal, no matter how many Ashleys there are. I am so swoony for Cole. I'm all swoony. I am swooning for him so much right now. I didn't even know that it was possible for Cole to have this effect on me. Because I must admit, when Cole was on the show decades ago at this point, I always thought, well, he's fine. I like him, but he's no Ryan. You know, he wasn't the cutie patootie heartthrobby Ryan. And I felt like Victoria was always destined to be with Ryan, and Cole was a runner-up in her life. In fact, Cole kind of felt like a runner-up in all of his relationships of the time. Nikki, Victoria, Nina. I mean, Nina wanted Ryan more than Cole, yet she was with Cole for a while. So I don't know, I just feel like Cole was second banana in the past, and now he's back, and he is like fluttering my heart every single day that I see him, with his baby blue eyes and that intelligent smile and his sensible dress. Ugh! Asking Victoria out on a date this week, showing up at the door with a sunflower for Claire, but still so cute. Look at how cute in his outfit and suit, and then and giving Victoria an excuse to put on that gorgeous quilted white dress. She said to Claire, "Do you think it's too much?" And I was like, oh my goodness, no. A white dress on a first date? Not even worried that she's gonna dribble a little bit of ketchup on it? Bold, Victoria, bold. That is just the kind of boldness that I am looking for in a soap. White dress on a first date. And I am dying over the revelation that Cole really hasn't even dated very much since we last saw him. Oh, sure, he had a couple of dalliances. That's what he called them, dalliances. That's such a writer thing to say. He's such a writer. He's such a that's so poetic. Couple of dalliances. Ooh, what a poetic way of putting it. Dalliances. But yeah, nothing serious. And all this time, nothing serious. It was like he was just waiting for this moment to come back around. And then when it came time to kiss Victoria at the end of the date, he did kiss her, and it was magic, but then he remained a gentleman. Even when she asked him to stay for drinks or coffee. Wink, wink, we know what this means, because she was thinking, do you want to... She was thinking about anything but coffee and drinks. Like, that was the signal. The do you want to go upstairs signal. Are we taking this upstairs tonight? But Cole said no, because he wanted to make sure that she is ready. After everything she caught him up on her romantic past too. And he just wanted to make sure that she was ready after everything she's been through. Cole! I might pass out. I might pass out from all of the perfection. Because he is the perfect guy. He has all the perfect actions. He has all the perfect reactions. As far as I'm concerned, the only thing that is not perfect about Cole is that he decided not to say, screw you, Victor. That's the one thing he's done wrong. Not saying screw you, Victor. And instead, now he's placating Victor, going along with Victor's plan. But I think it's just because Cole wants to keep the peace. He wants to see where things are going with Victoria. And he wants to develop the new little family that's going on there with Claire. I mean, I think that Cole cares equally about his relationship with Victoria as much as he does his relationship with his daughter. Cole is both the daddy and the Mac. Yes, that's right. Cole is the Daddy Mack. While Victoria and Cole were on their date, Mariah and Tessa had their date canceled. It is no small job being the hostess at the hottest restaurant in town. If someone at society calls in, Tessa's got to fill in. So, Mariah and Tessa's date plans went off the rails, and Mariah decided to take some takeout up to the tech house and try to get to know Claire. But guess who else was there trying to get to know Claire at the time? Yes, you guessed it, Kyle. Oh, you accidentally left your wallet at my house. I'll just drive it out to you. No problem. And when Mariah got there, Kyle split. He was like, I'll just go ahead and accept that I've been blocked here and I'll just split. And then Mariah's subtle interrogation of Claire began. Now, I think that Mariah was very, very slick in this conversation. If I didn't know Mariah better, I would think it was all quite genuine. But I think we know that Mariah was on a fishing expedition. After the conversation that she had with Kyle last week, I think Mariah wanted some information. I think it was all coming from a good place. Absolutely coming from a good place. They connected about their childhood experiences and how they came into the Newman family, and it was all very an interesting connection that I never would have thought of. They certainly bonded over it, but it was fishing nonetheless. Mariah had something she wanted to know. And they had margaritas together. I thought of you guys instantly when Claire called herself a perpetual 10-year-old this week. It's so true. Is she even old enough to drink margaritas? I don't know. Well, this is kind of exciting. Next week in the previews, it looks like Victoria is finally going to introduce Claire to Katie and Johnny, which has been a long time coming. She's been saying this for months. And I'm wondering what Katie and Johnny's reactions are going to be. Will they be welcoming toward her, or will they share Summer's skepticism? I can kind of see Johnny being welcoming toward Claire. He's very upbeat and positive. But I don't know. Somehow the new Katie, the aged up Katie, looks like maybe she could have an emo streak in her. Like maybe Katie will become a mole and start reporting about Claire and Kyle's dalliances back to Summer. I don't know. Are we about to enter into a custody battle with Kyle and Summer? I thought it was interesting that suddenly, Summer is thinking about establishing some kind of custody arrangement for herself. And it all really does make sense, the way that Summer described it to Chance, because she works all day and she's not living at the Abbott Mansion anymore. So she doesn't get to see as much of Harrison as she used to, and she doesn't get to see as much as Kyle does or Claire. Kyle and Claire are both seeing Harrison more than her, and Summer admitted to Chance this week that she's worried that Harrison will forget about her, wait for it, the way that he forgot about his biological mom, Tara. I can't believe they finally brought that up. I can't believe that finally happened. I mean, I really think that is a legitimate concern that needed to be addressed. Harrison's affection is so flighty. I mean, how often does he ever even think about Tara? And for that matter, when was the last time that we saw Harrison hanging out with Zippy? I'm a dynamo. Yeah, Mamie came back to town last week, and she had that dinner meeting with Nate and Devon, and she admitted in that dinner meeting to Nate and Devon that she can be a real piece of work. She said, I'm a dynamo. I know I can be a real piece of work. That was just funny. I'm a dynamo. I love that word, and I love that it's a word that Mamie chose to describe herself. I think that's great. It was a tough one, though. Only Hannah, Daisy, Dolores, Henry, Ron, Justin, and Brittany guessed that one right. Well done, you guys. That was pretty hard. Let's see if you can guess this one. Who said it? We put the fun in dysfunction. I feel like that could be the Y&R Chat catchphrase. We put the fun in dysfunction. So thank you. The Who Said It can become a new Y&R Chat tagline. But who do you think said it? If you think that you know, you can leave your guess at yrchat.com. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out during next week's Sunday chat. Well, now let's dig into some comments, starting with Connie, who says, school's out for summer and the kids are coming home. I'm most excited about seeing Faith, but we also get to see Katie and Johnny in a scene together as they meet Claire. It's also a sad reminder that we need Connor home too. Oh my goodness, yes, I'm looking forward to whatever's going on with Faith. She is announcing that Nick and Sharon are about to tell their love story. So it sounds like, oh, are we finally getting back to Nick and Sharon and the fate that was promised to us months and months ago? And once again, on the Connor front, should not Victor have been concerned about Adam this week and what's going on with Connor instead of thinking about using Adam as one of his chess pieces? I mean, come on. The whole Connor situation if it had to happen, would have been such a perfect opportunity to really highlight how far Victor and Adam's relationship has come, but that didn't happen because it really hasn't come all that far. In fact, this week it feels like it's right back to more of the same. Dolores says, I loved the moment that Mariah reached out to Claire. I forgot how similar their past was, sorta, giving Claire more comfort in knowing that she's not such an oddball and coming in to find her family as an adult in her adult life. This is great writing here. Yeah, I know. I never would have made that connection either. Mariah saying, you know, I was raised by a crazy guy. You were raised by a crazy girl. And we came into this family as adults. I didn't know Sharon was my mom. You didn't know Victoria was your mom. So yeah, it was a really interesting connection. And I enjoyed those scenes as well. And I just loved Mariah's subtlety. I thought she did a great job in those scenes too. Diana says, fun fact, everyone. It turns out that Haley Aaron, who plays Claire, used to play Abby Newman from 2008 until 2010. I wasn't watching at that time, and I had stopped watching during that period. I only found this out when I was asking my Google speaker how old Haley Aaron was. Tessa had mentioned that Claire and Summer and Abby were all the same age, so I was trying to figure out I was trying to see how accurate this was. Google told me that Haley Aaron used to play Abby on Y&R. I was so surprised, and I found this video of her from when she had the role. Yeah, Diana, I forgot about that. I feel like someone said that maybe right when she first got cast, and maybe we talked about it, but I don't think it really sunk in for me until you just said that. I'm like, wait a minute, yeah, I think I did know that, and I do. Now if I think back on it, I can see it and I can remember it, but just barely. Just barely. Oh, Diana also says, did anyone notice that Claire said that her favorite ice cream is pistachio? She said this when her and Harrison and Kyle were at the park. I think this is foreshadowing that Summer is going to experience a nut allergy, as I had mentioned before. There's going to be some sort of mix-up, and Summer's going to pay for it. I hope Summer has her EpiPen handy, as she's going to need it. Yeah, and Sue W. says, great observation. I think you're right. It must be foreshadowing. Yikes. I don't think Claire will deliberately try to hurt Summer, but she will definitely be blamed as though she did for whatever bad reaction / emergency befalls Summer from the ice cream, as you say, mix-up. An ice cream mix-up, oh no. Yeah, that could be it. So Summer and Claire go to the park. Summer orders mint. Claire orders pistachio, and oops. Clearly, that's Claire's fault. Yeah, and if we are entering into some kind of custody battle, too, that's really going to be fuel for the fire. Daisy says, Victor, Victor, Victor. How sneaky. What better way to pay Jack back than by bringing his son into the fold? Victor letting Kyle know that he believes in him is like planting a seed. And when the time is right, he'll swoop in and offer Kyle a position he can't refuse, likely glissade. Ooh! You'd think that Kyle would recognize that Victor is using him, but his being in charge of something may be more important, so he'd take it, and Jack will never see it coming. Ah! Daisy, yes, thank you. That's the final piece that didn't click over in my mind until you said that. Victor's going to offer Kyle the chance to run glissade. Maybe side by side with Audra, who he has slept with before, so I'm sure that could be an enticing deal. Yes! Oh, that is so good. So good. But also so bad. So good and so bad. Connie says, Victor loves to play chess, but I'm so tired of him using his family as human pawns in the corporate structure of his company. Why would he think that everyone is in a personal crisis with multiple family issues, and this would be a good time to stir the pot with major changes in their business profile? Yes. It's because it's all about Victor. It's not really about the family, as he often says. It's just all about what he wants and what his agenda is. Dolores says, I'm going to stir the hornet's nest of resentment again, negatively about the great and powerful Victor Newman. And I'm only calling it as I see it. And I see Victor Newman like a bullfrog, sitting around, blowing out his chest, croaking out demands, scorn, and conditional love to any and all within the sound of his voice. It's his world, and no one's allowed to be in it without his permission, bellowing, my family, my company, and when it is his pain, and everyone must pay or play according to his rules, disappointed. When Victor wants Adam front and center in his revenge plot, no consideration is taken that Adam's going through his own pain with his own son and doesn't need to be caught in this drama. What a father Victor is to only care about getting his way and destroying his perceived enemy, Jack Abbott, regardless of Adam's need for his father's consolation. Just my opinion. Oh, Dolores. Victor the Bullfrog Newman. I kind of love that. And I can see it. It's like the second, you really painted a picture there with Victor as the bullfrog. He's like, you know, sitting on the lily pad, croaking out his orders. And yeah, it's tone deaf, the whole Adam thing. Like, what? Do you really think that Adam needs a new position right now and to deal with all this when he's going through all of it with Connor? It's so one-sided and selfish. Well, Connie asks the question of the week. What was up with Tucker's hair? That was some disheveled hair. I couldn't believe it. I could have screen capped a million different screen caps of that hair, and I thought about it. Let me tell you. I'm like, I actually captured so many amazing, hilarious shots of Tucker's hair, but I only posted like one because I'm like, this is ridiculous. Because at first I'm watching the hair and I'm like, do they know? Does anybody, oops, did somebody not fix his hair? Oopsie. But then, I realized as the scene was going on, this is intentional and we are really seeing Tucker off the rails here. The hair is indicative of his internal state. T. Nicole says, that dang Devon, the one time he comes running to Tucker to help him, and look at all the events he triggers. Tucker canceling his trip, and now Audra's going to have a hostile takeover of his company? I should have known. It all comes back to Devon. Yeah, really. It seemed so minor. It seemed like such a minor trigger. But I don't know. Gary says, well, when Audra puts it that way, she is actually right. Tucker is many chatters' fan favorite, but I've always said you can't get involved with him. Audra realizes Tucker may be specking the truth as he believes now, but what about tomorrow when another shiny object catches his eye? Tucker is not a good bet to take a chance on, but neither is Audra, so they're perfect for each other. Is Tucker faking that heart attack? I'd guess yes. Yeah, that preview was so good. That preview was so good on essentially every level, right? I mean, it was just, that was a real, like, I can't wait for next week, especially with Tucker collapsing while on the video call. And we'll just see how Audra reacts, because of course he's faking, yes. And we'll just see how Audra reacts. But again, I agree with you, Gary. I think when Audra said that and made that point and said, you know what I realized, and it really, a lot of it came together when she made that point. And Daisy says, when Audra pointed out Tucker has betrayed her many times, I better understood where she was coming from. This was never about Ashley. It was about Tucker's treatment of her. Yeah, I think Audra did a great job of explaining herself in those final moments of Friday's show, yeah. Sue W. says, I still don't think that Tucker actually loves Audra, but he's worked is working hard to convince himself of it, and their great sex confounds the issue. Yeah, great sex will confound the issue, all right. Great sex has a way of confounding the issue. Good. Oh, but Dolores says, oh, Audra, you may regret your move and the partnership you formed to take Glissade from Tucker. Did you stop to think why Victor Newman is so agreeable to finance your efforts to get this company? What's his motive? Is it really so good after all? The great Victor Newman never shares ownership, and it really is his company, and you've become a pawn only in his game of chess. Tucker offered you the company free and clear, but you've been so jaded by the past, hurts and disappointments. All in all, you will not have your dream of a lifetime fulfilled. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Audra's about to get hers. She thinks this is the answer. She cares more about winning and beating Tucker. And she said that. All I want is to win. I want to win, and I want you to lose. And I don't think she either cares or fully considered the full consequences of what it means to get into bed with Victor Newman. Well, Victoria says, it looks like they're laying the groundwork for a Tucker and Ashley reunion. This is okay with me because I prefer Audra alone. Audra loses her fire when she's with Tucker. She becomes disenchanted and a bit whiny. I wish Josh Griffith would write strong women. Audra could be quite the character if written differently. She reminds me of a young Jill Abbott. Audra should be causing havoc with many couples in Genoa City instead of pining over Tucker. If I were Audra, I'd want to run my fingers through that lovely hair of Chance Chancellor. Then, next on her agenda would be kicking out Devon and Abby from the mansion. Audra would look great walking down those stairs. Who knows who else's life she will turn upside down. Oh, she's the vampiest, and she has so much camp potential. Audra's great. I like your idea of getting with Chance and kicking Devon and Abby out of the Chance Manch. Wait a minute, it's so weird. It's like Chance is the only chancellor, and he neither lives in the manch nor has a prominent position at the company, at the Chancellor Winter's company. Chance, come on. Well, last week I asked you guys if you felt that twin twist with Martin and Alan was a good ending to the whole Ashley story, and 63% of you said yes, we like the twin twist ending. Laura says, I love the good old-fashioned evil twin twist. It's a solid soap opera storyline. I won't be disappointed if the story ends here and Ashley is miraculously cured. Next could be Alan versus Tucker fighting for Ashley's heart. Don't want Alan's run on Y&R to end yet. Well, yeah, I know, but I feel like and Alan and Tracy had that hug. Also, they hugged. The last we saw, Ashley and Tucker were hugging, and Ashley and Tracy were. Alan and Tracy were hugging. So I feel like, if anything, it's foreshadowing Alan and Tracy getting together. But yeah, I think Twin Twist is a good, solid soap opera move, and I loved it. And Sue W. loved it, if indeed it is the end. You like a twin twist ending, if indeed it is the end. So that's interesting, because, I mean, I saw it as very final. The whole thing was just like, oh, well, there we go, wrapping it up. It felt like a wrap-up to me. But I was surprised by how much chatter there was after last week's Y&R Chat of people saying they think that this is not the end. Specifically that there is more Alan, and that maybe Alan's the one who died and Martin's the one who survived, and that there will be more to the story. So that's a very interesting perspective. Jojo says, I read a couple of publications that Eileen Davidson's leaving the show again. Perhaps her Paris clinic visit will be her soft exit. I'm so disappointed. I loved how she was able to stretch her acting capabilities in this last storyline, and so entertained when her other personalities would come through. Though, I have to say, the best part was when Allie would imitate her with the southern accent. I laughed so hard that the tears spurted from my eyes, and then I promptly imitated the accent just as Allie urged. that's the saddest part, JoJo, is that the Southern accent is gone. But you can be a Southern belle anytime you want to, honey. You don't have, the party does not have to end here. Even if Eileen Davidson's leaving the show, which I don't want to think is true. I feel like I don't ever believe any casting news until I see it in Soaps in Depth. That's how I know. If it's in Soaps in Depth, then I believe it. But otherwise, I'm just going to hold out hope that this is just the end of one chapter for Ashley and the beginning of another. Well, that's a wrap. That's chat. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. And I hope that you go to yrchat.com to leave your comments about the show. It is always entertaining to read the different perspectives that are often so much different from mine. Because a lot of times I will just watch through my little window and then I'll come look at the comments and I'm like, oh, I never would have thought of that. Or wow, that's a totally different way. So that's kind of one of the beautiful things about Y&R Chat is the broad perspective. So be sure to get your perspective in too. YRChat.com, or you can go to GenoaCitySoap.com if you want to check out those bonus episodes of Y&R Chat. Otherwise, just come on back here next Sunday and we will see where we are in the grand scheme of Genoa City. All right, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful week. I love you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.